Hello and welcome. My name's Trismegistus, and I didn't think I was going to be doing this stream because I thought my work would be horrendous until Wednesday. I kind of got it done. So version 2.1 came out, and I thought, well, what the heck? Let's do a bit of a thing. I'm in my what's it called? My noodling about series that I've been doing on the Sundays. My little stream that I've been doing just to get back in the swing of it. And let's just make sure everything's coming through. Yeah. Hello, Solden. welcome. Hope you're doing well. 2.1 hype indeed. Yes, I'm on my noodling about map, but I've snapped it in cheat mode. If you don't know, what you can do basically is you just use the command cheat. But you have to, it'll give you a warning. So I've done it, you can see there. Tried using the cheat command. Using the cheat command will disable all achievements. Please repeat the command to proceed. So it didn't let you do it sort of accidentally. You have to deliberately do it twice. But the other thing you can do with the cheat thing is that you can move between planets. So if we want to go to Gleber, why the hell we would want to go to Gleber, I don't know. You literally go cheat and then the planet name, and there you are. And there we are on Gleber. And so you can use that to just move between the planets very easily. It lets you move between the surfaces. So this is our glorious, disgusting mud ball. Yes, so what I wanted to do, because I've been recording footage, I'm probably going to do favourite bits of 2.1. It's not really a patch notes video, because the patch notes, if you've not been and looked at it, the patch notes are over 500 entries long. What was I going to do? I was going to go to Factorio. Yeah, the patch notes are 500, more than 500 entries long. In fact, can I bring it up from here? Don't think I can I? I've got to go to the start screen. Yes, hope you're doing well. If you've downloaded 2.1, Soldens. Why is that fiddling about like that? There we go. Yeah, I was gonna sort of, because I did a little dash up and round and trying to find some of the buried ruins. One of the things I'd sort of discovered, you can do it on an existing save, because that's what this is. I tried that on my ancient 2.0 save, and it didn't seem to spawn them in, but they're so infrequent that I'm wondering if it's maybe, I just couldn't find any, because look, there's bugger all around here, and then you get a few bits and pieces. There's also, I don't know if this is just my imagination, that I've never really looked at it properly or something like that, but it seems to be doing a wibbly wobbly effect on the proper deep oil ocean now, like it's a proper liquid sea. This is still solid, but I'm pretty sure they've added this edging to give it between the sort of slightly different coloured bits. It looks different to me when you zoom in, but say that might just be because I never really zoom in. But yeah, so it's going to be fuel for some lore speculation. I do well, feels like I have the flu or something. Can't really do anything productive. Perfect timing. Yeah, spend your time in Factorio. But sad to hear that. It's never fun being ill, and well, I don't know if you are Northern Hemisphere, but if it's as hot as it is here, I wouldn't like to be sick in this weather. Deeply unpleasant. I have my air conditioner on, and noise cancelling, so it might sound a bit weird at points, but it is what it is. But yeah, you can mine them as well, so you can get if you're close enough, you get scrap out of them, or some of them are purely decorative, like those. So that's them, and that'll be more fuel for the lore speculation fire. Cool. Right, so if we go to Volcanus, so cheat Volcanus. Obviously, when you cheat, you disable achievements and all that sort of stuff. And you also get access to this menu, which is like just the infinite, and you know, can get infinite amounts of whatever you want, sort of thing. And you can see I've been messing about with stuff. Yeah, so we go to Volcanus, then we can have a look at the new worm, or demolisher, as I should probably call them. Where are you? Up here, are you? Oh, no, don't want to zap him. I mean, it ignores you anyway with them, but... Here he is. See, it's a bit sort of wider in the... like that, you know, first area. It looks... alright, ground. Looks chunkier, basically. Wonder if we can get one that's going... heading more towards us. And a bigger one, maybe. I did manage to check some minor things in Factorio before. Some changes were, as always, confusingly worded. Looks scary. Yeah, they are a bit sort of... and they also... it looked worse in the video they put on the Friday Facts. They've added a lot of, like, smoke to it. Which kind of helps blend it in a bit better. Here we go. Here's the Demolisher. You see, it's this skirting that's really, like, changed. It looks more like a rock, doesn't it? Like the side of a... you know, like a cliff or something like that, and then these plates are a bit sort of thicker and more substantial. It does look a bit more like it would be difficult, you know, it's a tough enemy sort of thing. Are you still a small one? No, you're on medium, okay. Hello, Sana, how are you doing? I don't think it looks like the Friday Facts, but maybe it's that direction that does it. Get out to the Friday Facts. Yeah, so it's the sort of... it doesn't look much different going upwards. But it does look different like this particularly. But you see there's lots of smoke on it. But it doesn't seem as bad as it did in the Friday Facts. So I don't know if they tweaked it. But it does look more, you know, substantial, particularly as I say, these skirts. And it's more believable because it's meant to be like, I call it a worm, but it's because you know, it's just long and thin. But it's meant to be like a centipede or a... you know, like a, you know, it's got legs underneath, basically. So it's meant to be pushing itself along. So these look more like a skirt that's just, you know, outward sort of thing. So its body is like that, maybe. And then these are like a skirting. Because you have to kind of imagine that the attacks it does are really about fighting other demolishers. They're not really aimed at us. So that's why... you know, you can imagine it ramming into each other and these skirts protecting them. So I say it's a bit more sort of thought out and stuff. I wonder if we can find a big one. They're fairly far out. But I hope you know well, Sana? Are you a big one? No, you're a medium as well. So you have to go quite away for the big boys. I'd say my overall sort of thing on this update, and it's kind of why I did the closed beta, because I'd have kind of preferred to, you know, not do the, in a sense, not do it and do the Friday Facts with speculation. But it was pretty categorical, that first one they did, that it's not really big stuff. I mean, there are some things that are going to have a big impact. But it's not really... we've added a new planet, you know, we've added a moon, we've added a new resource. There's none of that, really. In fact, the non-Nailvis planets, can we even find a worm out here? Haven't really had anything done to them. You know, there's been a polish on... oh, and these are like where's the new rocks? So these are the new rocks. I really like these. They blend in, like, properly with the planet. Before they were just Nailvis rocks that they'd recoloured. In fact, we could go back to Gleba and look at the stromatolites as well. But they actually look like rocks proper. You know, that are on this planet, as it were. So I think that's quite a nice touch. And this thing that they glow when they get close to... they're not doing it then. But yeah, they glow when they get close to lava, because they're meant to be fresher. Ooh, there we go. Are you a big lad? You're a big lad. There you go. It's just, and it's literally just bigger. They don't really change much between the small, medium and large. Yeah, it's a screen long. Because one of the things with it is where's its eyes type thing. Does it even have eyes? And I've written a law speculation video on them. Power on Volcanus is 10 times more expensive on the calcite, which is no worry as the calcite fields are so big. Are they really? I didn't notice on the balancing. I would say, well, load up the save I was playing for my playtest. I didn't get to Gleba. In fact, I was kind of avoiding Gleba until I'd done absolutely everything else. But honest, I mean, if that was the case, I did not notice. You know, I've got a sulfuric acid power generation thing, but it made no. You know, I was still loads of free power. You know, it didn't feel any particularly different. I guess it's an impact for mega bases maybe, but for me it was just like, okay, I didn't even notice type thing. Let's go back to Fulgora then. Was it no, let's go back to Gleba and have a look at these stromatolites. We'll find some. So the type of stuff I'm not going to put in my video because it's a lot of the visual stuff isn't. There we go. There you go. So those are nicer. I do like them a lot better than the old ones. Before they looked like weird bulbous rocks for some reason. It just sort of didn't fit really. Actually look like stromatolites. It does make them. Are they more difficult to see? I don't know that they are they? No more than the usual. Can't see anything on Gleba. Because it's all too detailed. On the other map, I'll be able to show you the planets, apart from from space, apart from Aquilo, because I'd have to do the researches. But yeah, we'll go over there. I thought I saw. Oh, you are there. You're not going to spawn anything then? Okay. It's a bit weird. But these guys are still here. I don't think they've done anything with them. Yeah, there they are. Everyone's favourite. So let's go back to Nauvis. Acid neutralization recipe change. 1/10 of fluid is neutralized now. 1/10 the time, to be fair, but using the same amount of calcite. Okay. I say I can show you when we nip over there, but it didn't really do anything for me. The thing with these guys is what they've done is, I think people got a bit confused. It basically gives you this arrow that allows you to switch which side it's on. For these, it's not massively useful. If you do the whole thing where you like, oops. Why did you do that? There you go. Where you're outputting, you know, I guess it would be like that or something. Then that's kind of useful if you do that type of mining. I don't, so it doesn't really bother me. If it's just side on, it's still exactly the same. And you've obviously got the burner miner. He says not remembering where it is. Let's get it all for legendary. Burner miner, basically you can now flip it. You didn't used to be able to flip it. But again, you know, I use them. The only time I use burner miners, you know, I'm like directly inserting into a furnace, which is exactly the same size. So you know, that makes no difference. You can do. There's obviously big mining drills as well. They have a similar. Where do you go? Yeah. A similar mechanic, and you know, I guess I'll show you with one of these as well. You know, you can switch the sides, but it's like you could. It doesn't matter, because if you were doing the sort of a, you know, a thing like that, and then you flip it over, you're gonna flip. That's not changing, then, no? Okay. Yeah. What difference does that really make? You know what I mean? Say if you were doing a undergroundy one, then fair enough, sort of thing. You know, you have one going in like that, and you could double-side it. So it's sort of not massively useful at all, really. It's more useful for inserters, but the thing with inserters is it only works when you're going away from them. Is it coming? Oh, it does work coming, I guess, technically. But then why would you be doing that? Again, I guess if you were doing a undergroundy thing, that is useful. And it's more useful than it is with the Myers and stuff, I'd say. But the thing really is, it's if it's going away from you. In fact, let's do a red belt. Then it's useful because you can do, you know, that type of stuff. Or if I did flip them around, maybe you could, you know, it's sort of useful to a degree on that. Just slightly easier, but the way where it's properly useful is with splitters, and I do this all the time now. In fact, if I rebuild things in order to do this to them. There you go. Obviously, it's not grabbing anything. There's no power. So there you go. You're doing double-sided stuff straight away. Hello, Xicole. Welcome, welcome. Inserter flipping doesn't impact putting stuff on the far side or near lane. Far or near lane, right? No. So if it's parallel, I said in my video, I don't. What did I? I don't understand why they've not just done like the Bob style, because when you do it like that, you have no power over it at all. And if I flip it, it's still inserts, you know, puts on the belt on the far side. So if you wanted to fill it, then you're doing that still. It's really only for this. And so I have rebuilt, you know, retooled things, as it were, to take advantage of this, because it is nice and it is useful, and it's nice and compact as well. And like, it makes like stations as well. I haven't actually got a train in this thing, but it makes stations lovely because, you know, you can just have you know, you can just do that sort of thing, and then you sort of set these at, you know, if you want to, but it will put it on this side of the belt, so it'll blend them together. So if you then want to do, say, that, you know, something like that, then it will come out both sides. In fact, let's see if we can power this in. Oops. Oh, and then legendaries are 10. They showed you the 10. They didn't show you the others. So you see, it'll just fill both sides of the belt, and obviously you know, do proper balances and stuff. But before, you used to have you'd have to put a piece of belt, otherwise you were putting it on the far side and it wouldn't do the splitty thing. You know, it wouldn't balance it basically, whereas now it does. So that's a really nice little thing then. I have a nagging suspicion that you're cheating. Yeah, it's in cheat mode, so that I can just show everything. Burner miners are faster at mining per footprint. Use them. No, especially on a space platform, that splitty thingy, it will save space. The dual outputs from the crushers. Yeah, I say it is nice, just all over the place. Really, it's just nice to be able to do that and not worry about it. You'll see it. I mean, I've used it on my platform and all sorts. Really, it's nice. So yes, the different cargo wagons. It only goes up by one each layer. So let's put them down. In fact, let's go and show you. I was doing a race, basically. This will all be in my video. Here we go. So this is common, the normal one, 4. And then when it's uncommon, it's 5. And then rare, is it? I always forget. But when it's level 3, it gets 6. And then epic, is it? The level 4. So it's only got 4, 2, 4, 6, 7. And then for legendary, it jumps up to 10. So the jump from there to there is 3 rows, but only 1 each time there, which I don't really get that. And then the speed increases are, it goes 259, 267, it's fairly linear, 275, 283, and 298. So it's not a massive jump between each one. What's more important really is that the acceleration power increases, so that lets it accelerate super duper speeds. Well, I said the fluid wagons do a similar sort of thing, but they do go up. Is that right? Because that goes from 80, so it adds 15. Oh no, it is more, isn't it? Because that'd be 110 and it's actually 125. But it basically goes, so 50, 65, 80, 95, 125. So it's a bigger leap to legendary. But what they've done as well is the fluid tanks match it, so that these are always 2 to 1. So you've got 25 and 25 to 50. And then for that one, 65, it's 32. It's actually, I think it's actually 32 and a half. But it's 32, 32, 65. So add them together and it's a full thing. So if you upgrade it all at the same rate, you'll keep, you know, your ratios basically. You won't have to put 10 of these down in order to supply one of these type of thing. But yeah, let me show you my race. So these have all got one piece of nuclear fuel in, but normal nuclear fuel. So if we put this on, I think it's the tick symbol added. It's not. They're not going very far. So it's only just down to there and back. But even over this short distance, you'll see a huge difference. Because it's the acceleration really that matters the most. But if I put tick symbol in, no, oh, you're not on auto, are you? No, let's turn that off then. Because I wanted to show the pumps connecting. So let's just set them all to auto. Now if we set them all going at the same time, oops, the right symbol. There we go, so they're all off, and you can see that one's already shot off like a bullet out of a gun. So our legendary is that far ahead of a common. And you get a ratio going on where, because that's then 2, so it's done 2 trips to 2 trips, and that'll arrive. So it's arriving for its 3rd trip when the common's only just left from the 2nd. So it arrives for the 3rd, and it turns up for its 4th. So it's like a ratio of 4 to 3 on this little racetrack. But also the legendary, the step up is slightly higher, I think, for this one, because it gets further out of sync than the others. So yeah, if we stop that then. My little race. You need to fill the splitter so no items are left used. See to remember at least what fuel. Oh yeah, so it's nuclear fuel, just the regular fuel, but only the normal green stuff. You get an even bigger boost, I believe. Oops. So we go to legendary. It gives you a bigger acceleration still and top speed. Which, I mean, that's always been there, but say. There we go. Evening, folks. Hello, Casual Raz. Welcome, welcome. And 2.1. Whoop, whoop. Indeed, indeed. What was the other thing? I was showing some abominations. You'll see all these in the video. But I'm showing some abominations with the new pumps, because obviously we've got these dual connecting pumps. Wrong. It's just wrong. The thing that's really nice about them, this new thing, can I do it over here maybe, is if you turn this one off. So you see how they connect? If I just slap down a row of pumps, then it'll connect that one. But if I remove that one, or if I remove that one, then it'll just reconnect in an appropriate way. So if I take that one out, so I mean, it just you don't have to worry. You just slap them on any order you want, and it'll just work, sort of thing. I mean, obviously, if you try and, you know, this one is only ever going to connect to the middle. It's not going to connect to this one at the bottom, sort of thing. But yeah, so this was my demonstration of just the madness, because these pumps are all over the place, but they're in approximately the right position to go into one tank or another. So if we set this roulette train going, let it get up to speed. It's only got wooden fuel in it, so it's not going to... And then they connect, apart from obviously this one, because it's right next to the train. You see they just connect? So all of these posts on the forum of, why does my wibbly wobbly, you know, train, you know, where I've stuck a station on over here, and then I'm trying to pull out from a fuel tank, you know, over here with some pump, and I think that should work. It does work. So if we power it out, it works. And that is absolutely not aligned. If we put in the train, that's not going to show me, is it? Because it's on the wrong side. So put in the train. Oh, it did it, because, yeah, because it auto connects trains now. But you see it's still connected, even though it leapt forward ever so slightly. So it's just super, super forgiving. What else was the one that was really cool? One of the things that's sort of hidden in it is rockets. Because they did a bit about the rockets, like they auto resize their cargo, which was, yeah. So you can just have any old crap in it, basically. And it just expands the inventory. And you say you can have like one of every item you could think of. And what it does as well, because you see how I filled this chest with one item of each, and you see how it's missed things out, and it's done that in order to give it to exactly a ton. So the sorting out, you know, the backpack algorithm even works when you're doing like manual insertion. And these aren't requested. I'm not requesting these out from a platform or anything. This is just, I've told it I want to put things in from this chest, and it's done it and filled it up to exactly a ton. Station on side, yeah. And that other one. So yeah, so it's really clever. I say for me personally, it's not a massive change. You know, I'm not sort of not fussed. But I know it bothered a lot of people, so that's quite good. But yes, the other thing is that the different silos now launch faster. I can't really demonstrate it without, you know, filling them up with rockets and all sorts of stuff. You'll see it in the video, unless you do it yourself. But this one is way quicker at launching a rocket. You know, it builds quicker and it launches quicker. So the throughput on the rockets, even without, you know, modules, is like way quicker compared to them. They describe it as a slight improvement, and it's actually massive. It's like almost half between, or double between, the common and the legendary. But yeah, so that's in the video. What else could I show you? Oh, one of the things I tried to hint at this, but the you can now plant. It's such a, and say this is like, it's almost emblematic of, or like representative of the whole update really. You can now plant on trees on sand. which is, you know, nice, but, you know, it's sort of a, who cares? But yes, you didn't used to be able to play on the actual sand, just on grass, basically. So now you can. There you go. Landmine. I did do a little thing with the landmines. Where did I put that? Where did I put that? Oh, and obviously there's your eight pointed flamethrower turrets. They look really good. I really like the corner ones, and I like the way everything connects together as well. It, you know, it nicely fits like exactly where it should. So if you do, oops, you know, two like that, whoops, you know, they look really, really nice together. Where did I do the landmine thing? Maybe I just got rid of it. But basically the landmine thing, if I've got some, yeah, I have. So you have to manually wire them all up, is like the painful part of it. You can't like copy paste. So if I do that, or you couldn't, because they're obviously randomly set, so I can't, you know, get the bots to put the actual wires in. Obviously a blueprint can have them all set. Now, the use case, I mentioned this in the video, was around, I thought was maybe around the Demolisher, that you could have them all trigger at the same time. And I did get it to work, actually. Sort of. I'm using it in conjunction with turrets, because I couldn't quite deliver enough damage, basically. But yeah, so what you do is you just... I've got a combinator, there we go. So if we give it here... So these have an enable if, okay? And that's what you set. Right, so you have to copy it to them all. And obviously, so you set up a thing. But if we give it a condition of love heart greater than 0, and then we get the love heart symbol on, they all blow at the same time. So that's basically what you're doing. And they will keep blowing while that signal is there. Now you notice these aren't blowing because the wire is cut. So if we, and that's presumably because I've run out of landmines. So if we put it back in, we keep this up blowing, you see. So I say, it seemed like a good way of doing it, like a booby trap, basically. Faster trains are something I'm really looking forward to using. Yeah, I say it is great, and the throughput on them. The cargo unloader thing. This was me messing about with it to show in the video. Basically, what they didn't kind of explain in the video, but is obvious, because you're just taking things out with inserters, is you can just put things into chests as well. Yeah, so you don't have to... Yeah, you can take things out like that as well, and put things on belts, and you can do the old trick. In fact, let's get rid of them. There. See, so you can double side the belt quite easily. So you can do all that, and obviously you could therefore set up normal stations if you wanted. If you push that back by 2 tiles. You know, you could have them emptying into a row of chests. You know, so you could do that sort of thing if you wanted. I'm not sure there's much advantage in that, but you could if you wanted. I'll come back to this. So yeah, this was me testing the range. Basically, so long as this one, which is on the edge, the yellow square, is you can place them in this area and they'll work. You can obviously place them outside. They don't do anything. But so long as it's in the square, in any way, shape or form, then it will work, basically. So it doesn't need to be fully inside. So although it says 59 tiles, I'm not 100% sure if that includes that, like extra 3, or not, basically. But the 59 tiles is, it's on the research. So it's that max cargo landing pad unloading distance, and they've clearly designed it to be somebody will put a mod in that will let you increase it. They don't want to do that for whatever reason, but that's what they've done. I like this. This is literally brand new. This was not in it until the version that launched today. It looks like a little face winking at you. There's quite a lot of little face designs in the Factorio graphics, but yeah, it's like a simplified version of it. And I said to say to me, it looks like a face little, you know, like giving you a little wink. But yeah, so that's the cargo landing pad, and I'm sure people will come up with this is the optimal design and stuff, but it's like, you know, you'd have to have an amazing amount of throughput, because the thing with the cargo, because these you could just literally build them infinitely, so you could use every single tile in here to load onto trains from these guys, and as long as you've got one sort of poking out the edge, you know, you can have your massive storage bay over here. Now I don't think the actual pods come down outside of, I don't know, I never really bothered doing any of this, because, you know, this guy on his own was totally fine for me. The other thing they've done, and they did say this in the Friday Facts, is that you can now go over all of the, you know, the cargo bays and these unloading pads with elevated rail. And what happens if you see on the, you know, it says hatches blocked by elevated rail, and then the one next to it doesn't. So basically it stops working. The cargo, you know, landing pod thing won't come down. But you can also enable and disable or ghostify the graphics for the elevated rails, and you have to do a keybind on it. It's not set by default, but that's the keybind I've chosen. I've just chosen the square bracket. So if you want to do that, if you're the sort of nutter who does spaghetti under elevated rails, then it's in controls and just do a search for no, what's it called? Is it toggle? I think it's toggle. There you go, toggle visibility of tall entities. So I've just bound it to the close square bracket key. Yeah, toggle visibility of tall entities. Cool. Was there anything else I wanted to show you on this? I'm only going to stream for about another 45 minutes or so, if that. I guess there's the whole... I really like these. They also tie up really well with the... have I not got one? Not got one. With this, see if let's just stick some... put some iron plate in there. You see, it's got the, because it's got the element on the front, and then that's what these have got as well. So it like has a visual tie-up, and then they look very similar. This looks like a boiler that's been upgraded more than it used to. It used to just look like a boiler where they sort of tweak the graphics, whereas now it actually looks like the same sort of bit of kit. Another one that is a bit hidden is you can connect both heat pipes and every type of pipe to the circuit network. So you can basically get it to tell you, well, do nothing, read the contents, or read the entire pipeline, and also tell you the temperature. You know, if you're doing steamy type stuff. Rayguard's done quite a few. So this visualized pipeline, they didn't really explain it, but basically it means it stays on all the time for this particular pipeline, because obviously you normally only get it when you're holding the pipe sort of thing, and you're sort of laying them out and stuff like that, and then you can just sort of turn it on all the time if that's something you want. And yeah, so your heat pipes you can get temperature for, to help with people who are fanatical about managing their nuclear fuel. What else have they done? Obviously the boiler as well can be directly connected, so now we don't have to mess about doing the same thing on a pump or you know, or an inserter or something like that. You can just do it directly. What they did is they chose that symbol. So this will stop working. Do that. But the map is not infinite. No, isn't it? It's incredibly large, though. So large you wouldn't be able to hold the entire map picture in your memory. It would kill your PC. What was the other thing I was missing about on here? Oh, Spidertron. So I happen to have 5 of them over here. Let's bring them over. And what you can do is you can set patrol paths. If they collect... No, I didn't connect properly, don't I? There you go. It's quite forgiving as well with the clicks. Not as forgiving as I needed it to be, but... So when they arrive, they will just start wandering around in that patrol path. So if you want to keep your walls clear and have your Spidertrons, you know, occasionally pop in to your base and get restocked sort of thing, or really good for landfill maybe, that you have them wander around on an area you want the landfill, they run out and go back home sort of thing. You can't, as far as I'm aware, control it in any way, in the sense that you can't set circuit network conditions. But yeah, you can have Spidertron trains now, effectively. Or do it via RTS. And they'll just keep going round and round and round, because of course they don't have any fuel or anything like that, so they can just keep going. Obviously they will run out of rockets if you're using rockets, but they won't run out of lasers unless you haven't, put enough power in. But yeah, and here's the new assembly machine graphics. I can exclusively reveal when they did the Friday Facts, these weren't actually in the game. So when I'm talking about them, I hadn't seen them other than what they put on the Friday Facts. But here's the new graphics. Can we connect that up? It was literally the version that afternoon, so if the Friday Facts went out at 12, then they went in at like 3 o'clock sort of thing. I think they look awesome now. They, it's particularly the way it steps up is really cool. So this one, obviously it's got this 1 gear, 2 gears, 3 gears thing. But yeah, you've got the level of technology kind of goes up each time. So like this stamper thing is one of the best, or riveter, or whatever it is like the best example, because it is sort of thin and insubstantial there, and then it becomes a bit more sort of significant there, and here it's like a super stamper. Yeah, I think they're really awesome, and the speed is appropriate to what they're doing as well. I even quite like they've put this on in such a way, or positioned it, so that this doesn't completely hide what's going on as well. New assembler looks nice. Yeah, it's really lovely. Spidertron does whatever Spidertron does. Indeed. Hello, Bonancius. Welcome. I like how most of the interesting details are still visible in alt mode. Yeah, so it's like really nice how it sort of works around it. Because that's just like that boring... I mean, that's not, that's just like a structural thing that's mostly covered by it. And then it's just sort of the stamper thing that kind of disappears, but yeah. I like that it has these... I'm going to do a series on the graphics, talking about them, because there's just such lovely details in them. Oh, and speaking of which, the oil refinery... This was a shot. This was there when the closed beta started. Where is it? And it's really nice when you like properly look at it. Oh, obviously the tanks are all full. Let's just flush them out. So yeah, when they're running, you've got lots and lots more. They're always a bit dull, the refineries. It was a nice design, but not very much happened on it. And so now you've got lots and lots of things going up and down and squishing in and out and what have you. And I particularly, there's a bit here. You see it has on, you can't really see it on that one, but on here, this bit going up and down. I don't know if you can see in this one, but it has actual fluid that leaks out when it goes down. And I'm pretty sure it matches whatever's actually being processed by the refinery. Obviously, the refinery only has a couple of recipes, like the coal liquefaction and stuff. But yeah, so you've even got like fluid dribbling around in them. Yeah, they're so nice. They've also changed the noise as well to match. There's a lot more, because you've got all these rotating geary type things. They've added a lot of that noise to them. I'm still missing a laser cannon thing for space platforms to have an orbital laser to barbecue natives. Yeah. I say, it was sort of, it's not that sort of change, you know, it's not that sort of update. I don't know what proportion of the team obviously has moved on to the new game and ideation for that and what have you, but it feels a bit like a smaller portion of the entire, you know, dev team has worked on this. It's not the full team. I might be completely wrong with that, but like, you know, Erendel, you know, has left them now, and Erendel did a lot of the concept, you know, like initial concept art. Obviously, a lot of them, I'm sure, could do the same, but you're not going to add in 5 more machines if the guy who's been designing all your machines or the look of your machines has left. You know, so there is a bit of, you know, bit of that, and so it's not that any of the others couldn't do it or what have you, but say if you've hired someone to be a concept artist and then, you know, they're gone, that probably says a lot, basically. But yeah, so it was a real surprise this coming in. I was like, it said in the patch notes. I spent when the it's so long, the patch notes. I spent like, you know, when I got in the beta and got the first version of it, I spent an entire afternoon reading the patch notes, and I skipped all of the mod stuff and all that sort of stuff. So it's like there's like 200 bug fixes in it and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a really, really, really lovely graphic, that one. It also fits quite well. I can't remember which one it is. It also fits with another one of the. It's like a very close cousin to another one of the machines. I can't remember what it is. Anything else I wanted to show you, or just cover in this? I guess anything else anyone wants to see, you know, that you've not looked at yourself or what have you, then do shout. But otherwise, we'll load up my. Well, I suppose the big one that was really, I was really happy, was that these guys, you can now put in every single orientation. So you can connect them up really, really, really easily now. And it was just so nice setting up this oil field, not to have to completely redo pipes because you realise that the output points in the wrong direction type of thing. It was just so nice. I mean, not this because this is on the old map, but the one I was setting up compared to this, it was just like, oh, that's so much easier, so much less faff. Refineries look a lot round. I don't know if it's it is a good thing. Yeah, as I say, I like them. There's also, I don't know that, I think it's part of the graphics, but you see how these are very clear that it's not connected. And what they've done is they've sort of pushed back the sort of connecting point, if you see what I mean, and then this sort of joins up to it, so it can be a lot more visually clear. You know, if I now put this on advanced oil, the pipes properly connect up. I say, I think that's like a combination of, oops, you know, kind of how they've done both of the graphics, basically. So yeah, I like the improvement. What was the other thing they did with their graphics? assembly machine, demolisher. Obviously the new bits on Fulgora. I'll show you the flipping of inserters. This is on my notes. Oh, the lab thing. Have I done on here? This is confusing because I haven't used this in my other save. And it's basically, so you've got these options here, right? Which I think they're fairly self-explanatory apart from that one. When you're doing infinite techs, it seems to relate to the infinite tech that you're on, I think. But quite what it's doing otherwise. So if we change to, obviously I've got, let's turn that off. I've got a lot, you know, because it's on the cheat mode, it's all unlocked. So if we go something like that one, then this should, oh, I didn't cancel it, did I? If we add that on, oops, you see it says 13? But I don't know whether that means because I've just done this via unlocking, I don't know if that means like that's a level 1 technology and it's only when they get up to, like that says 2. Is that the number that it's referring to? Because that's the second military research. But obviously that comes before, you know, everything in blue science. So is that a level 1 or a level 2 technology? And so, but the only ones I can look at right now, we could do it on the other save, I guess. You know, is that level 3? Maybe. And like that's level 3. Don't know. I don't really, other than using this as part of some circuit logic to pick out, because I could see the use of it of swapping between, you know, like mining prod, steel prod, blue circuit prod, plastic, you know, sort of switching between those, tracking the level somehow, like you all wanted them all to step up one level maybe. But otherwise it seems a bit pointless. But in terms of the setting research, you do just put these conditions in, and the order is quite important because it goes through them sequentially. So, you know, it would check this. What I've done here, so I've done it based on like a material, because it is just a normal circuit network thing. So I'm just sending in a signal of 2000 green circuits. And so that's the check, and that's why it's picked that one out. But it doesn't seem to wait for the next technology. So if I put this as the, well, at least it wasn't doing this. No, if we do that, no, that's wrong. So what it doesn't do. So if we literally give it the same condition and it's in the same lab, then it'll wait. And because I've given it the same condition, it will always pass that one first. Yeah, so if I drop that down to say, or take that up, say, okay, you see how it's switched? So it doesn't wait for the science to finish. And that gets particular if I put all of these on like the same thing effectively, then because it works like a case, then it will do this one first. But you see, I say it's doing mining prod 15, and if this condition, because you could be reading the contents, you could be reading these other things, and so if those suddenly change, like for example you use up all of your, you know, white science or something, then it all, and that was your condition, it would move on to the next technology, so it wouldn't wait for it to finish. Okay, what's weird about it though is that you can do it on multiple labs. So I can set this condition here to go, say, refined chemicals, right? Now, you may not be able to see that because it's happening so quickly. It's happening at 60 ticks. But these Can you see how it's flashing? So it might not come through because it's on Twitch and stuff. But it is every tick, it is making a real evaluation between the two different labs, passing both conditions and effectively flip-flopping between the two. Now I thought when it was set up that it would you could only do it once on one lab, but you can do it on multiple labs and it will evaluate those separately. I could see some advantage of that if you're doing like basic science on Volcanos or something, and you know, biolabs, you know, advanced science on Nauvis, and you want both of them to be going, you know, between each other, and you've now got the signals between planets, so I guess maybe they could communicate with each other. But I'm not entirely sure I see the point of that, because all you're just going to get is people setting different conditions in different labs and arguing essentially and not really going anywhere. So yeah, so it works sequentially in here. So if I swap those over, it'll flip to that one. It evaluates it, it seems like every tick. And if you've set things in multiple labs, they'll compete with each other. So yeah. The assembly machines do look fantastic in array. They look almost look beefier. Yeah, they're nice and chunky. They look more falling apart as well. What textures would you even change, if any? The outside of your green scene, it's a little visible in the middle of the screen, is it really? That's probably not my green screen. That's probably... That might be the edge of my monitor. Let's see if I can change the screen. Is that right? So it's more like, because I was set it up very quickly. So it's more likely the camera had the edge of the monitor on the green screen. I mean, I can't see it, but maybe you can with a bigger screen. Okay. New sounds for opening your build menu and setting research is caught me off guard. Oh yeah, so it is. It's yeah. So it's they've done a lot of tiny little tweaking on the menus. They've done a lot more bespoke ones that are, you know, specific to the machine type or the recipe or what have you. In the middle of where I normally sit. You can make it not idle where there are no unique science packs that are needed. So you can reach earliest productivity when you have knowledge. Logic sounds, plastic productivity when you have. So especially useful for medium science packs. Yes, I mean, I say that's like the intention of it, and because you can do like what's in the actual labs as well. So you could say do this research, you know, when you want to. But the fact you can do it in multiple labs means they can compete with each other. It's only here, well, they'll do it like a case statement where it reads down the list, and the first one that's passed, then it will do that. And as I say, it seems to evaluate it every single time. So if that circuit signal ran out, as it were, so say let's say we do that on red. I'm just picking those because they're just nice, easy things to do. So it's gone on to the health 13 because we haven't got the red signal. So if we put a red signal in, so because imagine it was counting down. You see, so it's now on the mining prod one, and say it was a science pack, and we used up a science pack that we didn't have, right? And so this goes down to 500. And then it's moved on to the health. So it's evaluating it every tick, basically. It won't stay with that research. It'll move on, which is good, because you don't want it researching something. If you've got other packs in stock, you know, then you want to research something else. That makes a lot of sense. So the fact that it competes with each other is a bit weird. The thing I would say is I think you probably... I mean, you can do simpler stuff like this, I guess, but I think really you're going to do... you know, if you're the sort of person who's doing that, you're probably going to do a whole bunch of combinators, you know, and do some logic check based on stocks here and there, because we always got to remember with all of this is you've got the planetary signals thing, which is really neat, by the way, because the way it works, I've not messed about with it yet, is every radar can do it once, but they can send out a channel. So if I send out the green signal on, what would be not confusing, let's send it out on A. So it doesn't have a hover over, which is a bit weird. But if we go to, let's go to Gleba. So now on Gleba, let's just set ourselves up a little power thing. So that the radar will so that the radar will work. And we pop the radar on. And we say to it, oops. It still uses the red and green. If we set it to, was it A I put? So we're now getting that signal in, because I also told it to read the contents in the labs. So we're getting the 2K, 500, 128, L14, 2, 2, 2. So everything that's on that red, green and red channel will come through as that channel. And of course I set that as A. So what you can set is a whole array of radars, which I now can't power. You know, give this the signal B, and this the signal C, and this the signal D. So you can use absolutely, well, you can't use some because the color ones are a bit weird, but you can use all these symbols to send signals between things. So you can control almost more platforms and stuff than you've got, you know, than you could support in the game. Really, it'd probably fall over before you did that. So it's really, really nice. So what I'll do then, I'll show you it more in action, just as a very simple. I haven't really done a lot with it. Where did I put? Okay. So this is my playtest save. They didn't want us doing any footage and stuff from it because, I say, these guys came in literally on Friday. So they were like, don't show any footage, because you know, that you'd be seeing the old graphics and it'd get quite confusing. This is a terrible map. I tried my best to get through it, and I didn't. I failed basically. But so over here, what I'm doing to like control the flow of metallurgic and electromagnetic science is I'm reading the contents of this landing hub, and I'm putting it into a radar, which I'm giving this and using the channel heart. Okay, so if we now go to, for example, Foggy 1. Foggy 1 has a radar on it, and it is tuned to the heart signal. So this then has got a circuit condition on it, because obviously I hooked up with a circuit that says when you're at Nalvis, only leave Nalvis if there are less than 200 electromagnetic science packs. So rather than just be drifting back and forth or waiting over Folgora, then there's nothing for it to do over Folgora, because obviously Folgora is dangerous. The asteroids there will damage the ship. It's incredibly loud, that, isn't it? The asteroids will damage the ship. So it's safer for it to be set around Nalvis, particularly if it's an early platform like this and it's a crap design like I always do. It's safer to be sat around Nalvis, filling up, you know, fuel and what have you, waiting to go. Okay, and the other advantage of it is it works like a buffer. So I'm sending down like science packs in drops. So this is only requesting 500, but each time it stocks up with 1,000, and I should be doing better. You know, I'm just throwing it together as I say. So it will sit here with, you know, 112 packs sort of thing. Here we go, we're arriving at Folgora. Those look so nice, the planets. Yeah. Once it's then got those science packs, which I'm pretty sure it won't have in stock. Yeah, we've not made that many, but once it's got them, it'll head back, and then it'll just sit there in orbit, slowly dropping down science packs, and then when there's less than 200, it buggers off and goes against some more. And I'm doing exactly the same thing with Fulgora, with the metallurgic science pack, and because it's just a contents thing, I'm using the same channel. So yeah, it's really, really nice. It just makes more sense for controlling them. And that's always what I wanted, you know. Yeah, the university I really want to play, but I also want to keep writing my debugger. I must try out setting the platform request dynamically. Yeah, so you can do all sorts of stuff on these now. I've not really done most of the stuff, but like setting the requests so that it'll do it dynamically. I'd probably use a single channel for the entire universe with a kind of multiplexer, simply because I like having a channel defined by number and not by an icon. Yeah, so you can do it however you want, really. It's entirely up to you. Yeah, so and that's for now. This I say it tends to be quite overclouded, overcast. I think they should probably tone it down a bit because it hides all the nice little details. One thing I didn't want to say during the Friday Facts read-through thing was that the way it actually, it's a texture in the game files. If you go in the game file, not texture, it's a single map. So you've got a single version of Alvis. If you were particularly artistically inclined, you could obviously edit that. You could do whatever you wanted with it. It does have all the, what it's talking about, the UVs and stuff, where it shows, because if you look at these, they have like there's a shadow there you can just about see, I think, where it's meant to be like the coastline effectively. So it does have that sort of texturing stuff in it, but that's what they meant about people doing their own planets can make one of these, and then it'll basically just pick it up, you know, and use it. But yes, it and dynamically adds, you know, bright side of the planet, dark side of the planet, so day and night, to that texture. And it's like a big long, it's a big oblong basically, and it just moves it across. The spherical correction moves across basically, or the spherical distortion moves across it, and that therefore gives it the thing. But yeah, they look really, really nice. So that's that on Volcanus. I guess we're not at Volcanus. If we just send you off to Volcanus. Volcanus. The other problem I had, this patch, my first proper tungsten patch, the demolishers were 2 across it. So it's like I knew that I had to kill 2 demolishers when I arrived here straight away. And it's like usually you get, it's actually in the actual territory, so you just have to do 1. But I was like, that's across the thing. And I could have tried for that one maybe, but look at that, that's horrible. Where would you get a train station in there and trains around? But yes, that was the other thing. And so this was, I think I actually deleted the blueprint by accident, but my idea, the way I did it was just like I used the auto firing landmines as like a thing in front, and had them all hooked up, so that essentially they would all trigger when I gave it all a single signal. And the same with I had then a bunch of turrets behind it, and everything was just set to, you know, turn on when I gave it this signal. So the demolisher got right up to was over the landmines, about to hit the turrets. I switched it all on, all the landmines fired, all the gun turrets went off, and it was dead instantly basically. I probably didn't need the landmines, but you know, I was messing about with it. Are we at Volcanus yet? One of the things you may be able to, it feels like these are deeper. There's nothing mentioned in the patch notes, so it may just be I've never really noticed. But it feels like they're thicker. Oh, there we are, at Volcanus. They're not really any different size, I don't think. Oh no, they are, aren't they? Is that bigger? Where are you? Yeah, I think that's bigger, isn't it? Yeah, because that's maximum zoom. Because this is meant to be the biggest planet, I think. I think that's right. It's difficult to tell because obviously, you know, weirdly zooming around and moving around. But what I thought we might do, just to end this off, because I got to try and end at 8. Got work tomorrow. Is if we go to Gleber. And I can, you might be able to see. There's meant to be a second thing, but there's obviously the butthole is on the planet. So if we go to Gleber 1 and head over, because I've done that research, I think. Yeah, so we're ready to go to Gleber. I mean, we're not going with anything. So it's a bit useless. The other thing I would say, they've done something to the biters, and it's not properly covered in the patch notes. But what happens now is that the colonisation groups seem to be less frequent, but much bigger. And if you remember, this was always my complaint about the colonisation groups, in that you'd get, you know, 2 worms and a nest, and that was it. And so they were just annoying. They weren't a challenge. And now they are, and I can't really show it to you, but because I killed them. But I had a colonisation within 4 hours, I guess, that had 20 nests and worms in it. And so that was within 4 hours of starting the game. So yeah, they've done something that tweaks that. The other thing they've done, are we there yet? No, if we head over, and I'll keep nattering. Anyway. The other thing they've done is if you use the putting, you know, stuff around the nests. Now obviously you don't have to do this. Well, this is one of the things they've also fixed, is that whole thing where it only spawns at exact you know, these exact points, that appears to be gone. But if you do this trick where you block them in, they now fart out a toxic gas, like an acid, that basically eats through those walls. Now, I think it should be stronger, because the level they've done it at, you can feasibly keep repairing it. You can have bots repairing it. That's an expensive thing to do, when what you can actually do is just set a bunch of, you know, turrets that are filtered to only, you know, only hit the actual biters type of thing. But yes, if you put these things around, then it squirts out this acid that basically will destroy the walls over time. I also wanted to make dynamic platform requests to reduce buffering on platforms, but couldn't before. Yeah, it's a lot nicer. The other thing they've done, so the platform to platform transfer is really about getting things into orbit rather than down from orbit. What I tried to do, oh, there's my, you know, white science platform, and what I tried to do was have this, because you take the provide materials to other platforms on your platform, and I had this requesting the electromagnetic science from the Fulgora, you know, Fulgi one, the ship going back and forth to Fulgora. Looks like we've reached Gleber. So I had that pulling those across. Now they went across to this platform, but because this then had a request, and now this had a request, this platform would not fulfill the request, because it becomes like a passive, an active receiver, basically, like a, you know, a blue chest. So it wants things. It's not like a buffer chest. So it's not that it would pull them in and then when Nalvis needed more, it would drop them down. It becomes purely a requester. You could, I am pretty sure, if you're clever, I'm not clever, but if you were clever, set up some sort of circuit networking thing that like cancelled the request or only requested it at certain times. And then it might not be a fulfilling the request thing, it might be like it trashes them, you know, it trashes and they drop down to the planet, something like that. But I think you could probably set it up that it worked like that if you really wanted to. But as I say, it's better, in my opinion, that the ship arrives, or it's easier anyway, that the ship arrives with all the Fulgora stuff, and then just sits there dropping it down as you need it. And then when it's runs out, that's when it leaves, type of thing. That's just easier to do, basically. But yes, I couldn't set this up without, you know, being better at circuit networks anyway, to act as like a buffer chest, only as a requester chest or a provider chest. Because as soon as I removed that request, then it was like, oh, now this needs those packs, and drop them down. So say you could probably switch them off, maybe, you know, like use the set requests somehow to turn them off and on. I don't know, but say that was beyond me, basically. Right, so Gleber then. Oh, I have to drop down. Oh no, there we go. So here it is. Old Glebby. The thing about this, I say this is why I think they should tone them down on Nalvis, because on Gleber it rains all the time. You know, that's Gleber's thing. It's always raining, and so all the clouds here make sense. You know, having loads and loads of clouds on a planet that's constantly raining makes sense. The fact that Nalvis has got this many clouds on it, and it isn't raining ever, it never rains on Nalvis, and yet it's covered in cloud, doesn't quite track for me. So I say that's the other reason I think they should sort of calm down the clouds on Nalvis a bit. Having a bootstrapping space station to supply new ships with asteroid chunks could be nice. I just realised I have never even used Prometheum chunks after 800 hours. Have you not? Yeah, so you can do all that sort of thing. The thing you can't do, and I know people have already requested it, is the fuel. So I'm not 100%. I'm guessing you could probably transfer chunks, so you could maybe do it that way. But you can't barrel like thruster fuel, or you couldn't. Maybe they did that last minute. But you can't barrel thruster fuel, so you can't say send over, you know, 100 barrels of thruster fuel. You seem to have to make that locally. But as I say, it just occurred to me, you could maybe send the chunks over and then just auto process them from there, maybe. But yeah, certainly ammo, you know, all sorts of other bits like that you can send over. And I say, the intention of the, you know, the platform to platform transfer, like the obvious use case, is that your rockets going up don't need to, you know, your platform arrives to pick stuff up, and at the moment you've got to send up, you know, 20 rockets to fulfill all the requests. Or you could instead do that over time, and have them come up, and so your platform in orbit can then sort of send them over. I think that seemed to be viable. Again, it might take some circuit network magic, but yeah, that's all seemed a bit sort of simpler in a sense to me, doing it that way. Still not seen the butthole. They took, given that the planet times, you know, Gleber is meant to have a day-night cycle of 10 minutes. They spin a lot slower than that. They could add a hub and loader distance tech based on Prometheum to have more than just one tech using it. I say, I think from their point of view, they're not intending to do any of that stuff. But they've, if you look at the changelog and look at the all of the modding stuff they've added, like the, you know, to the API, the scripting API, their intention is for other, you know, for people to put mods in to do that sort of thing. Part of the reason I think on that is that if they start adding those things, then it's more to maintain, basically. So it's like, you know, they'd probably also get constantly pestered for, you know, this isn't balanced right and all that sort of stuff. Having a platform collect chunks and ammo over an hour, this would be great for kickstarting. Saw the butthole in the game files. Yeah, so say if you just look in the game files, you can see what the pictures look like. But yeah, so it's definitely there. It's definitely a feature of the planet. It's not some weird, you know, artifact. But yeah, I guess it's around the other side at the moment. It was just that. No, it's just on the it's just on the picture, basically. Yeah, yeah. The butthole is on the butt. I'll get demonetized for all this. It's saying butt. It did actually flag the. I think it was the lore video where I'd said, you know, butthole in the first couple of minutes. It it didn't quite demonetize me. I think it restricted ads on it basically, so I can have some, but not all of them, just for butthole. So I should stop saying it because it will get demonetized. But yeah, so that's it. I just thought, oh, there we go. There it is, swinging into view, hidden behind the clouds. So it should clear up because it is like a random. I didn't explain it in the front effects, and I should have done because it's kind of what I try and do. But it's like a flow algorithm, and it basically takes one. It's basically taking a single texture and like stretching it out all over the place. Yes, that's it there, and it's enormous. It's like bigger than it is or looks on the icon. And as I tried to warn people, because these icons are like hyper. You know, they're like super saturated versions, and it's a lot more subdued. But then when you're on the actual planet, these are the actual colours on the planet. You know, the purple isn't searing your eyes off purple, you know. The other thing, Fulgora, which I don't think I showed, is the lightning. That's really effective, I think. Very, very clever. Because it's so simple. It's just like one little picture. You know, or I think there's like 6 or 7 or something in the actual file, and then it's just flickering between them, and so it looks like it's, you know, lightning strikes. That's very nice. Yeah, very clever. I'm sort of hoping that somebody does like a city planet, you know, like Coruscant, is it in Star Wars, where it's like an entire planet is like a city sort of thing, and you know it lights up on the dark side as it, you know, the lights come on sort of thing. Quite what that would be like to play, I don't know. Oops. But yes, I say it's hidden by cloud, but there you can see it. There's meant to be something else as well, because somebody said they spotted something else, but I couldn't work out what it was. It's hidden by the clouds. For me, the hub unload distance is way more than enough to not need any bots. I still achieves this design goal of everything is imported in a single small space. Yeah. So I do. It's sort of a weird thing. Just to round off on a strange note, but it is a bit of a weird thing when you have or to me, it's people basically requesting things that are like, effectively, please make the game so that I don't have to play the game. You know, it's like, because the multiple landing pads really is just, if that was, it would just trivialize everything. If you could literally drop anything down anywhere, what are you actually, what's the challenge in the game? And if you could just build infinite of them and literally have, they could effectively become like a big, you know, requester chest and pass it and provider chest, you know, like combined, like buffer chest or something. And you just hook a few machines up to the side and that's your entire base. You know, what's fun about that type of thing? Just, you know, when you get to the level where rockets are so cheap, you know, it just seems a weird request to me. It's sort of I mean, I get maybe you could have up to 3 or something, but say people just want to be able to stamp them down everywhere, and it's like, well, it's not really, you know, it's not really a game left if you do that. So it's still covered by cloud, though, isn't it? They're keeping its modesty. But yes, so that was my 2.1 launch, just rattling through a load of stuff, pointing it out. I'm sure you'll encounter it as you play through, but yeah, these are all the sort of bits and pieces that I noticed or found. There is a I say the patch notes are gigantic. In fact, maybe I could, if we just exit out that. So if you haven't looked, the changelog, this is like all of the changes. It literally goes on and on and on. But and I say bug fixes is like there's like 200 bug fixes. And then when you get to the modding and scripting as well. And I say this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to basically open it up so that everyone who does mods has got access to just about everything. I say these are all the features. It's it's a relatively short, limited set that apply only to Space Age. You know, a lot of it is in the base game as well, and the graphics stuff. I wonder if it's that one that is the better oil. Maybe. And there you go. So you got use of crude oil, lithium brine, and fluorine vent. Refinery in the rocket silo. Deconstruction. Messages that play. Bunch of optimizations. Bunch of balancing changes. People are miffed at the concrete one. Because there used to be a trick where you converted concrete to hazard concrete, and then hazard concrete like I can't remember if it does a different thing when you recycle it, but it's like way quicker. And then a whole load of changes. It's worth looking through because there'll be stuff here. Well, there's all sorts of stuff. Mac compatibility. And I say the bug fixes is just bonkers. And your modding, your scripting, your GUI. Yeah, gigantic list. And I'm pretty sure they're going to add a few bits over the summer. You know, I don't think they're. I suspect there might be like one or two more graphical things, for example. You know, where they just stick in, I don't know, maybe a new icon or maybe a retexture on a building. I don't think so though, because I think they're probably pretty happy with most of them. Yeah, I think there'll be a few little bits and pieces over the summer. But yeah, this is it. This is your Factorio. Enjoy. Now instead of making hazard concrete, we're going to make landfill pads. Yeah, as I say, it's about, you know, they wanted to take out some of the things that are just like too easy sort of thing, which was where the whole space casino thing comes from. But you can still do that type of build. You can do a space thing. It's just you can't now put quality modules in the reprocessing recipes. So you can still put them in the normal crushing, and the normal crushing benefits from the prod bonus. So you still can get loads of, you know, stuff and loads of chunks that, you know, have a chance to cycle round through quality. It's just that was just too powerful, was their sort of thing. And a final sweep of new achievements. Hopefully, I would not count on that. I don't think there'll be new achievement. Maybe one type of thing. I don't think there'll be new achievements. It's like. So, for example, I wonder if it's on here as... what would it be? The biters. So it should be... Yeah, so it's moved solar system edge space location unlocked to a new separate technology. And they've done one for, like, the cargo... Oh, it just says under. So that's got its own technology, basically. That's they're not really doing that scale of change. They're not really changing it. Just little tweaks here and there. It's like you can't now. So there was a thing before. People were apparently going up to the platforms before they had the technologies to do the planet. So they, they were thinking, oh, I can now fly my platform over to Gleba. And actually you have to unlock the technology for Gleba. So they were launching themselves up to the platform and finding that was basically it. There's no point in them being there. And of course with the whole thing that, people are worried about rocket costs early game, I think they felt a bit cheated, that they just spent a rocket in order to have to come back down again, sort of thing. So that's the type of, it's very much, the way I would classify this is it's the quality of life update. It's not really about changing things and adding things. And as I say, you can tell that from the relatively limited number that apply for Space Age. And it's more about things that apply for everything. Unlike the whole quality is now optional for Space Age run because the recycler is a separate mod, the world's tiniest mod, but it's a separate mod sort of thing. And that's the type of stuff they're doing. It's just tiny little tweaks, really. Some people also thought you need to be there to build on planet. Yeah, on platforms. So there's all sorts of things like that. They're trying to make it just polished, basically, rather than really add and change things. So yeah, if you don't like it, then you need to learn how to mod yourself or download a mod that will make the changes for you. But yes, that's it for me for now. I will be back definitely on Sunday. I'm going to continue my noodling about. Obviously not with all the cheats on it that I've been doing. But I'm if you're not aware, I'm currently streaming a series on Sunday that I started when the Friday Facts started happening. I'm only doing a couple of hours. It's just a bit of sort of fun to end off the week, basically. I've been doing this series Noodling About, where essentially I've started a new playthrough. It's a rail world, but I've turned Biter expansion back on, so we're getting nice big patches and that sort of thing. And I am, whereabouts am I at that? It's sort of, I think I'm just about to do Blue Science because I'm taking it fairly steady. So I will just carry that forward into 2.1 because I checked it out. There are a couple of recipes or a couple of like script things that they've changed the name of, but they're exactly the same thing. So I went and had a sneaky peek at Folgora and the ruin. The ruins are there, so it appears that it all just carries through. I've not got far enough to do anything that matters really. I could maybe mess about with the lab research and that and see what the levels means, for like lower technologies. Maybe we could do something like that as a test. But yes, so I'll be continuing that series. That'll be on Sundays. My plan for the summer is basically just to stream Factorio version 2.1, like my, should we say, streamed playthrough. I mean, I'll probably pick up the series I was doing in playtesting as well, because I'm a lot further ahead with that. But that's like the only plan. The lore speculation series I am writing the scripts for. I've got quite a few done, so I need to record them, edit them, etc., etc. They will basically return, let's say, autumn, but probably I'll focus on doing the 2.1 playthrough, and then the lore speculation will return, along hopefully, as I say, with a series on looking at the graphics, basically, and analysing the graphics. So those are kind of the content plans. I might also do a bit like this, just a few random extra streams, just because what I would particularly like to do is pick up other games just on random streams, because I no longer stream to YouTube at the same time, just Twitch. It's not going to cause any. It was causing problems in terms of people were unsubscribing when those are on. I think they were just seeing some random game in their feed that they didn't care about and assuming, that channel wasn't worth being unsubscribed to anymore. And I now I have a second channel, Triggles VODs and Sods. You can see the name in there. That's where I put all my VODs. So this will go up, for example, and the 2.1 series is going there. And I say if I do some random extra streams, because as I mentioned before, I get sent occasionally codes for games. They're almost always like in my wheelhouse, as it were. So like, you know, management, building, you know, those sorts of games. And also, you know, I download demos, so it'd be nice to play some of the demos, like world strategy and stuff like that. So it'd be nice to do some other stuff just for me, and all of it can go on the Triggles VODs and Sods. And you know, if you're not interested, so you don't watch the streams and don't watch the VODs. But then it's completely separated from my YouTube channel. So yeah, so that's my kind of content plans. Version 2, this is the summer of version 2.1, and I will be streaming it on Sundays and maybe occasionally at other points as well. And we'll just play through until we get to the Solar System Edge. Maybe I'll go further, I don't know. So yeah, so that is the plan. If you are new here, you've not seen me before, the main thing you should do is go and check out my YouTube channel, because I post all sorts of Factorio on there. I'm currently doing the Friday Facts. I always do very deep dives on the Friday Facts. Literally the opposite of what everybody else does. Everybody else summarizes them and gives a few thoughts. I do, at the moment, they're like over an hour and a half, because they put so much in the Friday Facts at the moment. I used to do speculation, so you know, and they still get, you know, views and stuff. But obviously now, because I played the closed beta and there's the patch notes out, it's more just sort of thoughts rather than speculation. Yeah, that's the big one to check out. Is my speculation series, as well is the other big thing I do. Lore speculation for Factorio. You know, what's the engineer? What are the biters? What happened to the Fulgurans? What is Promethium? What is Promethium science? All sorts of stuff there that people do seem to enjoy. I love making. So if you are interested in Factorio in any other way other than just playing, then there might be something for you there. What else? I guess Blue Sky is my only social media channel, you know, social media type thing. And I just post really when I'm going live. There is also a Discord. If you are someone who uses Discord, then that's available for you. And the intention, as a request from a viewer, was to make it simpler, which I did. And so there's basically just Factorio and general. And the idea is that if you want to talk with other people about, you know, lore and stuff like that, Factorio, then that's an option if you are a fan of Discord. I don't particularly use it, so I'm not really there, but yeah, that's an option if you want it. So there we go. So that's all my self-promotional and all of that type of stuff. So this VOD will go up on Triggles VODs and Sods within the next couple of days. And I will be back on Sunday for more of the Noodling About series. I think that's it. So if you have been watching, I hope you enjoyed it. You might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Factorio version 2.1 launch day stream. Thanks for watching. Cheers.